Read crypto infrastructure like an architect. Most people enter crypto from the wrong door. They start with price. They ask, is the token cheap? Can it do 10x? Who is talking about it? Which exchange listed it? What does the chart look like? But price is the last layer. Before price, there is infrastructure. Before infrastructure, there is demand. Before demand, there is a real problem. And before a real problem, there is a question that almost nobody asks. What would actually break if this protocol disappeared tomorrow? That is how an architect reads crypto. Not from the candle. From the system. ## the market loves stories. Infrastructure needs proof. Every cycle creates simple narratives. Fast chain. Real yield. AI token. RWA. Res taking. L2. Depin. Intent layer. Consumer app. But a narrative is not infrastructure. A narrative tells you why people are excited. Infrastructure tells you why people must use the system. That difference matters. A token can pump on attention. But infrastructure survives only if someone needs it repeatedly. Every day. Every block. Every transaction. Every settlement. Every liquidation. Every swap. Every borrow. Every bridge transfer. Every application built on top. This is why the first rule is simple. Do not start with market cap. Start with usage. ## test 1, who uses it when the hype disappears? The first question is not, how many followers does the project have? The first question is, who uses it when nobody is celebrating? Users can be different. Traders. Borrowers. Lenders. Developers. Market makers. Applications. Wallets. Institutions. Other protocols. The important thing is not only the number of users. The important thing is the type of user. A protocol used only by airdrop hunters is fragile. A protocol used by traders because it has real liquidity is stronger. A chain used only because incentives are high is fragile. A chain used because applications cannot run elsewhere is stronger. A bridge used only because points are available is fragile. A bridge used because capital must move across ecosystems is stronger. When you study a protocol, ask, who is the repeat user? What are they trying to do? Would they still use it without rewards? Would they pay to use it? Does another protocol depend on it? If the answer is unclear, you are probably not looking at infrastructure. You are looking at a campaign. ## test 2, who pays fees, and why? Fees are one of the cleanest signals in crypto. Not perfect. But clean. Because a fee means someone accepted a cost. They paid to trade. They paid to borrow. They paid to launch. They paid to bridge. They paid for execution. They paid for liquidity. They paid because the system gave them something useful. This is why dashboards such as DeFi Llama fees and token terminal matter. They do not tell the whole story. But they force the right question. Where is the economic activity? A protocol with attention but no fees may still become important. But it is earlier in the story. A protocol with repeat fees already has proof that someone is willing to pay. The next question is revenue. Fees are what users pay. Revenue is what the protocol or its stakeholders actually capture. That difference matters. Some protocols generate large fees, but most of the value goes to liquidity providers, validators, searchers, curators, or third-party operators. That is not bad. It may be the correct design. But it means the token may not capture the same value that the protocol generates. So the architect asks, who pays fees? Who receives them? Does the token capture anything? Can governance change that? Would higher fees kill demand? This separates protocol activity from token value. They are related, but they are not the same thing. Hashtag test 3. What is the security model? Crypto infrastructure is not only a product. It is a trust machine. Every protocol asks the user to trust something. A smart contract. A validator set. A multisig. A sequencer. A bridge. An oracle. A curator. A governance process. A custodian. A legal wrapper. Sometimes the risk is obvious. Sometimes it is hidden inside the architecture. This is why resources such as L2Beat are important. They do not just show TVL. They show risk assumptions. Upgradability. Data availability. Proof systems. Sequencer control. Escape hatches. Governance permissions. A chain can be fast and still fragile. A bridge can be convenient and still dangerous. A vault can have yield and still depend on a curator. A stablecoin can look simple and still depend on regulation, reserves, custody, and redemption. The architect asks, what has to be true for this system to remain safe? Who can upgrade it? Who can pause it? Where does the oracle come from? What happens if liquidity disappears? What happens if governance is captured? What happens if the bridge fails? Security is not a checkbox. It is a map of assumptions. Hashtag test 4. Why does the token need to exist? This is the most uncomfortable question in crypto. Many protocols need a product. Fewer protocols need a token. A token can do several real jobs. It can pay for gas. It can secure the network through staking. It can govern protocol parameters. It can coordinate incentives. It can absorb risk. It can represent a claim on future cash flow if the mechanism exists and is legally possible. But sometimes the token is not infrastructure. Sometimes the token is only a fundraising wrapper. Sometimes it is only a community scoreboard. Sometimes it is only a way to create speculation around a product that could work without it. So the architect asks, what breaks without the token? Does the token secure anything? Does it route demand? Does it control scarce resources? Does it receive value from usage? Is the value capture active, potential, or imaginary? This is where many stories become weaker. A protocol can be useful while the token is weak. A company can build a strong product while the token captures little. A network can have users while token holders capture mostly volatility. That does not mean the token cannot rise. Markets can price narratives for a long time. But if you are reading infrastructure, you must separate product market fit, protocol market fit, and token market fit. They are not the same thing. Hashtag test 5. What happens if incentives stop? In crypto, incentives can create the illusion of adoption. Points. Rewards. Liquidity mining. Temporary APY. Airdrop farming. Subsidized gas. Marketing quests. These tools are not automatically bad. They can bootstrap a network. They can attract liquidity. They can create the first market. But they can also hide the absence of real demand. The clean test is simple. What remains after the incentives are gone? Does liquidity stay? Do users return? Do developers build? Do fees continue? Does the protocol still solve a painful problem? If the system only works while it pays people to pretend they need it, it is not infrastructure yet. It is a subsidy program. Hashtag how to read current crypto signals. Look at the market today. Hyperliquid is interesting not only because people trade the token or talk about the exchange. It is interesting because the system shows real trading demand, fees, liquidity, and a product that users return to. Pump.fun is not important only because it is controversial. It is important because it showed that a simple issuance interface can generate enormous user activity and fee flow. Morpho is not important only because banks mention it. It is important because lending markets, vaults, curators and distribution partners turn the protocol into back-end infrastructure. Tokenized treasuries and stablecoins are not important only because they sound institutional. They matter because they create settlement, collateral and yield layers that other systems can plug into. L2S are not important only because they promise cheap transactions. They matter if applications, users, and assets actually live there, and if the risk model is understandable. In every case, the method is the same. Do not ask first. Will the token go up? Ask. Who uses it? Who pays? Who captures value? What risk is hidden? What breaks without it? ## the architect's checklist. Before believing a crypto infrastructure story, run 5 checks. First, users. Who uses it repeatedly, and would they still use it without incentives? Second, fees and revenue. Who pays, who receives, and does the token capture anything? Third, security. What trust assumptions hold the system together? Fourth, token utility. What breaks if the token does not exist? Fifth, dependency. Does another protocol, app, institution, or user workflow depend on this system? If all 5 answers are strong, you may be looking at real infrastructure. If only the story is strong, you may be looking at temporary attention. ## main conclusion. The next crypto cycle will not be won only by the loudest tokens. It will be won by the systems that become necessary. Necessary for trading. Necessary for lending. Necessary for settlement. Necessary for custody. Necessary for tokenized assets. Necessary for applications. Necessary for other protocols. The market will still talk in prices. But infrastructure speaks in flows. Users flow through it. Capital flows through it. Fees flow through it. Risk flows through it. Applications depend on it. That is what you need to learn to see. Do not read crypto like a gambler staring at a chart. Read it like an architect studying a bridge. Where are the load-bearing parts? Where does the pressure go? Who pays to cross it? Who maintains it? What happens if it fails? And most importantly, would the world notice if it disappeared? If the answer is yes, you may be looking at infrastructure. If the answer is no, you may only be looking at noise.